The Hanover County Democratic Party leaders taking steps tonight to remove one of their own precinct chairs over allegations of sexual harassment and aggressive behavior.
David Andrews is the husband of Wilmington City Council member Celeste Andrews, and he says the claims are not true. WECT's Connor Smith learned new details about the situation tonight. Now, Connor, the state Democratic Party is looking into the allegations now.
That's right, John. A grievance letter includes allegations from multiple different women and elected officials. We reached out today to everyone involved in this grievance. Nobody wants to talk on camera, but the document paints a detailed picture of Andrews' alleged misconduct. A 7-page grievance outlines the New Hanover County Democratic Party's allegations against David Andrews. Andrews is a precinct chair for the party and a former Pender County manager. He's also the husband of Wilmington City Council member Celeste Andrews. The grievance alleges last year David Andrews aggressively confronted County Commissioner Stephanie Walker, City Council member David Joyner, and County Party Chair Jill Hopman at fundraisers for Roy Cooper. Then, according to the grievance last month, Andrews inappropriately touched Jenny Thomason, a candidate for Clerk of Superior Court. 2 other women alleged unwanted touching in the grievance, including one where Andrews was, quote, hugging her and growling in a guttural and sexual way. The grievance asked the state party's Council of Review to remove Andrews as precinct chair and ban him from party events. In a statement, Celeste Andrews says David firmly disputes the allegations, and this should be evaluated through a fair and impartial process based on evidence. Because the matter is pending before the Council of Review, we won't be commenting further or addressing specific claims outside that process. The North Carolina Democratic Party declined to answer our questions, but says the allegations have triggered an internal investigation. The party says it hasn't set a timeline for that investigation. Now, Celeste Andrews says 4 days before this grievance was filed, her husband submitted his own grievance alleging wrongdoing by county party leadership, including Hopman. She declined to share more specifics. Hopman says Andrews filed that grievance after she asked him to stop attending party events. Connor Smith, WECT News.